Hello everyone, I am Dr. Mujahid, Assistant Professor of Surgery, Head of Anatomy Department, Faculty of Medicine, University of Khartoum. Really, I'm glad to be here today with you and to present to you some sort of revision to the important areas in the human anatomy in our DR here in Faculty of Medicine. First, I would like to share with you my impression about the previous work which was done by our teaching assistants in the department. It was really good and informative and impressive. And also, I want to keep advising all the students, especially because they are coming soon to the exams in the college. I want to advise to maintain all the precautions regarding the current infections which is present worldwide. Shortly in this video, we will try in this session today to pass quickly through the important structures in the human anatomy, in the human body, from head to toe, the important areas, especially, which you may be asked about it in your coming exams. I hope you enjoy the session with us today. This is now we can see the area of the upper limb, the right upper limb. We'll try to pass quickly through the upper limb to revise it. First, in the proximal shoulder area, we can see this muscle, pectoralis major, anteriorly, and this is deltoid muscle on the top of the shoulder, which has anterior fibers, medial fibers, and posterior fibers. If we retract pectoralis major, we can see the second muscle here, which is pectoralis minor. We are not going to discuss the origin, insertion, or action. We'll just go through identification of the structures. And this is the pectoral nerves. This is probably the medial pectoral nerve. We have two pectoral nerves which enter pectoralis major, and it arises from the brachial plexus. Now we retract pectoralis minor. We can see the nerves of the brachial plexus, the branches of brachial plexus. If we identify the classical M shape, here we will be grasping three major nerves: the ulnar nerve medially, the median nerve in the center, and the musculocutaneous nerve laterally. If you retract them all, you will see the brachial artery. This is the brachial artery or the axillary artery. The lower border of teres major will be called brachial artery, and it gives this branch going down. This is the thoracodorsal branch, or we can call it subscapular branch. Then will give us this one, the circumflex scapular artery, and then we'll continue as thoracodorsal artery to latissimus dorsi muscle. So this is an important thing, the whole brachial artery. If we retract the artery, we can see the radial nerve. And this is the radial nerve coming from the posterior cord of the brachial plexus, going to the posterior compartment. If we retract it, we can see the glistening white tendon of latissimus dorsi muscle. If we retract latissimus dorsi muscle, we can see the axillary nerve and the circumflex humeral vessels entering through the quadrangular space. This is the axillary nerve with the vessels. Now here we can see another nerve, which is the long thoracic nerve entering serratus anterior. This is the thoracodorsal nerve entering latissimus dorsi, and this is the long thoracic nerve and vessels entering serratus anterior muscle. If we go here to the back, we can see this is subscapularis muscle, and below it will be teres major. These are the important structures to be identified in the area of the axilla. Of course, this axilla now is free from fat and free from lymph nodes. Now we go down proximally, down to the humerus. This is biceps muscle. Biceps brachii has got two tendons, long head and short head. And if we retract it, we can see brachialis. This is brachialis, and here we can see an important muscle, which is coracobrachialis, very short muscle, which is a weak adductor of the shoulder, coracobrachialis. These are the important structures in the humerus. If we go down to the cubital fossa, we can see the borders of the cubital fossa made by brachyradialis, pronator teres, and imaginary lower humeral line, and the important contents of the brachial fossa. Remember the median nerve, the brachial artery, and the radial nerve, superficial and deep branches of the radial nerve. The tendon of biceps. These are the important contents: median nerve, the brachial artery, and the tendon of biceps. And here we have the radial nerve. Contents of the brachial fossa: the median nerve, most medially, the brachial artery, the tendon of biceps brachii, and the radial nerve, the continuation of the radial nerve laterally. Okay, these are the contents from medial to lateral. Now we come to the forearm, the muscles of the forearm. They have superficial and deep group. Of course, you remember the superficial group by putting your hand. If you put the left hand over the medial epicondyle, the fingers will point toward the muscles one by one. The first muscle will be pronator teres muscle. This is pronator teres, followed by palmaris longus. This is palmaris longus, followed by flexor carpi radialis. This is flexor carpi radialis, followed by flexor digitorum superficialis, followed by flexor carpi ulnaris. So if we repeat them again, this is pronator teres. Okay, the first muscle we retracted. This is palmaris longus. This is flexor carpi radialis. This is flexor digitorum superficialis, and this is flexor carpi ulnaris. If we retract the superficial group away, we can see the deep muscles. In the deep group, we have this one, flexor pollicis longus, and this is flexor digitorum profundus. This is flexor digitorum profundus. If we retract them away, flexor pollicis longus and flexor digitorum profundus, we can see pronator quadratus. This is pronator quadratus. And here we can see the anterior interosseous nerve and vessels. This is the anterior interosseous nerve and vessels. Okay. So this is regarding the forearm, the compartment of the forearm anteriorly. Now we go to the posterior compartment. In the posterior compartment, if we look to the posterior compartment of the upper limb, starting from the shoulder area, we can see this muscle first, trapezius. If we separate trapezius, we can see the spine of the scapula. The above muscle here is supraspinatus, this one, and this is infraspinatus, and this muscle here is teres minor, and this is teres major, this muscle, and this is the posterior fibers of deltoid muscle, and we can see here the two heads. Usually we see two heads of triceps muscle. First, the long head. This is the long head, and the lateral head. The lateral head and the long head. If you separate them, inside we can see the medial head. So remember, you see two L first, the lateral, the long, and when you separate them, you see the medial head. And at the same time, you get the radial nerve. This is the radial nerve passing in the posterior compartment of the upper. All these heads, they join together to give me the tendon of triceps, which is inserted in the olecranon and help in extension of the elbow. Okay. Here we have a lot of muscles in the posterior compartment of the forearm. We group them into multiple groups. All of them, they have 3 muscles in the group. First, we have the first 3 muscles here, which are brachyradialis. This is brachyradialis, followed by this muscle, extensor carpi radialis longus, and extensor carpi radialis brevis. This is the first 3. Okay, brachyradialis, extensor carpi radialis longus, and extensor carpi radialis brevis. The second group is the muscles which form the snuff box, the anatomical snuff box, starting from abductor pollicis longus, this one, extensor pollicis brevis, second one, and extensor pollicis longus, the third muscle. They form the boundary of the snuff box, anatomical snuff box. Abductor pollicis longus, extensor pollicis brevis, extensor pollicis longus. The third group of muscles include extensor digitorum. This is extensor digitorum, extensor digiti minimi, which is not present here, and extensor carpi ulnaris. Extensor carpi ulnaris. So we have 3 muscles: brachyradialis, extensor carpi radialis longus, and extensor carpi radialis brevis. And we have other group, extensor digitorum, extensor carpi ulnaris, and in between them extensor digiti minimi. And we have the last group, the separating group, abductor pollicis longus, extensor pollicis brevis, extensor pollicis longus. We add to them other muscles which are deep and coneus and supinator. They don't appear in this view. We can divide the muscles also in another way, which is the compartment. We have the compartment at the extensor surface of the wrist. We have 6 compartments. Okay. In the first compartment, we have these 2 muscles together: abductor pollicis longus, extensor pollicis brevis. In the third compartment, we have this muscle, which is extensor pollicis longus. In the second compartment, we have two tendons here, extensor carpi radialis longus, extensor carpi radialis brevis. In the fourth compartment, we have extensor digitorum. In the fifth compartment, extensor digiti minimi, and in the final compartment, extensor carpi ulnaris. So these are the compartments, okay, in the back of the forearm. Okay. Now let us have a revision, quick revision of the hand. The group of the hand muscles are usually collected in two areas, the thenar eminence and the hypothenar eminence. We have the abductor pollicis brevis and the flexor pollicis brevis, and in between them opponens pollicis inside. The same here, we have abductor digiti minimi, flexor digiti minimi, and in between them opponens digiti minimi. This is the thenar group, this is the hypothenar group. Here we have adductor pollicis, this muscle, adductor pollicis, which adduct the thumb. And inside, in the mid-palmar space, we find the tendons, long tendons of flexor digitorum superficialis splitting to receive the tendon of flexor digitorum profundus to pass in between. So this is flexor digitorum profundus passing through the two slips of flexor digitorum superficialis. All of them will be covered by this fibrous flexor sheath. We have also the digital nerves, which are branches of the median nerve. And we have also the superficial palmar arch, giving the common digital arteries, and they give the proper digital arteries. This is the superficial palmar arch, which is mainly formed by the ulnar artery. Okay, these are the important components of the mid-palmar space. Here we can see a lumbrical muscle. This is a lumbrical muscle arising from the tendon of flexor digitorum profundus. Okay, these are the important things to revise in the anatomy of the hand. Okay.